Hey everyone, and there's only one of us here. One of us here reflecting, revealing the infinite that is everywhere in its presence. I want you to just get a real sense that your life is significant. I want you to get a real sense that you are not to compare yourself to anyone on the planet. I want you to get a real sense that there's something about you that is seeking to express itself at this very moment, and it's always seeking to express itself. We may call it the light that lights up every man, every woman that comes into the world, your inner brilliance, the divine luminosity, the presence of God as your very life. I want you to begin to be aware that you have emerged from the eternal as a distinct unit of infinite possibility. And though your paradigm and your perception may have narrowed itself around the thought that you are simply the daughter or son of parents, which is relatively true because those are your relatives. However, we want you to begin to understand as you begin to walk the spiritual walk that you've emerged from the eternal and that your parents and ancestors are vehicles through which you came through to come into this dimension and to be on full display of being an emanation of the presence of God like never before, because you have never been before and no one will ever be you. I want you to get a real sense that you're on a journey, a voyage of self-discovery, a continual voyage of self-discovery as to who you are and what you represent. That on this particular journey, you're going to uncover the blind spots. You're going to uncover the shadow side that is the dark matter incubation of gifts that are to express through you. As you transmute and transcend those particular blind spots, and then they become gifts. And then as they become gifts, they become cities. They become actual expressions of powers that you don't even know you have. This is all the walk of the Christ, the walk of the hero's journey, the walk of you becoming more and more yourself. So that your walk is not merely about trying to change the external world in any way, shape, or form. The world is just a Rorschach test feeding back to people what is going on within them on a regular basis. Your role, if you choose to accept it, your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to wake up to the ever-increasing power that is within you, and to cultivate your limitless nature and to begin to think from that dynamic, to begin to think from that limitless space. Now, to think from that limitless space, to think from the presence of God is called real thinking or inspiration, where other modes of thinking is not really thinking, it's mainly the rehashing of previously held points of view that ultimately become prejudice, become judgment, become comparison. It's like you have a formulaic way of walking through the world because you're seeing everything according to how you've seen everything in the past. And so your life just becomes a churning of experience based on the stagnation of stuck perception. When you wake up and have a realization that on a daily basis you are to enter into your sacred journey of unfolding, meaning at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the month, at the end of the year, you can look back and actually see that who you are now and what's coming forth through you in this instant is not the same. It's not the same perception or the same person that was existing a couple of weeks ago, or a couple of months ago, or a couple of years ago. You begin to train yourself to give everyone permission to grow, develop, and unfold. So you are not making people be stuck in a perception that you've had about them in the past, that everyone gets to be born again over and over and over again, so that you become aware that your incarnations can happen in one lifetime. You can have many incarnations in one lifetime. So you're not just thinking, I had a past life and I'm going to have another life when I leave here, that I'm going to have another incarnation. No, if you're really on your job spiritually, you'll have many incarnations in one lifetime. You'll have many iterations of yourself that are becoming more apparent, that you're a multi-dimensional being carrying the facet of infinitude in every area of your life. Now, this makes your life an adventure. You're on an adventure of self-discovery. You're on an adventure of self-expression after discovery. And then that adventure of stabilizing these higher frequencies so that your baseline for joy and happiness and peace and abundance and prosperity, not materialism, becomes at an all-time high, and that becomes a new set point for you to continue to keep growing, developing, and unfolding. So the name of the game is continued unfoldment, of which your bliss and your ecstasy emanate from. Bliss and ecstasy do not emanate from the externals. Bliss and ecstasy emanates from the activation of potential, your shadow becoming your gift, becoming your powers on a regular basis, so that you're walking differently on the planet. So when you hear the theme of the month, you really want change? Then change your vibrational address. You are shifting where you live in consciousness, understanding the fundamentals of metaphysics, and that is the universal presence, which is God, the presence that's never in absence, called by millions of names, through universal law, always responds to your frequency or vibration. You have an energetic vibrational signature that is being released all the time, and by law, the law matches that vibration and then condenses that into experience for you. It's lawful. Therefore, you're coming to an understanding that you are not to establish causative factors outside of yourself any longer. You're not to think that someone out there, they out there, the world out there, what's going on in the world is the determination of my happiness, my joy, my success, my anything. Everything is internal. Everything is a dimension of your internality and your interiority, I mean to say. But internality is good. I think it's a new word, Reverend Joey. I think it is. Anyway, you're doing this jazz here. So everything comes from within. These basic fundamentals. And then you become aware, of course, that your attitude, your continued attitude triggers your DNA to turn frequency into chemistry. Your attitude triggers your DNA to convert your frequency into the biological chemistry, so that you don't have to wait a long time to see manifestation. In this second, manifestation is occurring. If you're having an insight right now, if you're having an intention right now to grow, develop, and unfold, if you have an intention to love God with all of your heart, might, and soul, and have no other gods before the one God, nothing outside of God, if you understand that when Scripture talks about God being a jealous God, all it really means is that have no other gods before the one God. Don't put anything else in front of the one power, the one presence, and the one love. As you are coming into that kind of dynamic, you will understand that you are moment by moment continuing to move and change your vibrational address. You're living in a different spot. So, what are we aware of? We are aware that fear is an invitation. It's an invitation to experience something you may not want to experience. That when you are in fear, and you look around the world right now, and individuals have been seduced, intimidated, and provoked into a fear-based kind of reality, and it's swept across the globe, and it's a continual thing that sweeps across the globe, and it's not difficult to see why when you have, the pharmaceutical companies in bed with the media company, and, there has to be a continual fear-based vibrational frequency to sell the wares, you see. And so individuals are seduced and provoked and intimidated to move into fear. So it's not your fault. And you combine that with any kind of hereditary strains of thought that it may have passed through. Fear has become normal, but not for you. If you've tuned in here, then you're stepping out of that. You're no longer going into what Job did when Job said, "What I feared most has come upon me." No. You are coming into an awareness that you are releasing the fear, doing your inner work, so that you're standing in an awareness that the presence of God is for you, you're understanding that God is your strength. God is the light of your life and the strength. Who shall you be afraid of? You're moving right into that 27th verse, 27th Psalm, and feeling in that kind of frequency, you see, so that you'll be freeing yourself moment by moment by moment by moment. So when you understand that you are here to change your vibrational address and stop trying to manipulate the external world, or stop trying to allow your happiness and peace and joy and wisdom and harmony to be contingent upon what's happening in the world, you will rise above. And you will step up to the vibrational plate and let God be God as your very life and being. And as I mentioned last week, you will become the epitome of health, because health means spiritually minded. And then you will move into the dynamic of healing, which means the eradication of distractions, so that your vibrational address keeps shifting to higher and higher degrees. You keep moving to higher and higher ground. You keep moving to higher and higher ground until you're able to say in substance that I'm making the Most High my habitation. No hurt, harm, or danger to come nigh my dwelling place. You have to do the work to come into this dynamic, to feel this within your bones, you see? And so when you hear the topic as you must have a personal revelation, period, you can't ride into heaven consciousness on the back or on the wings of anyone else's revelation. Of course, anyone else's revelation can inspire you. They can generate a field of their insights and revelations that will assist you along the way, high tide lifts all boats kind of vibe. But ultimately, you have to have your own personal revelation of the very things that I am saying. That when you come to Agape, even virtually, and you get a moment of inspiration or education, so to speak, then it is up to you to absolutely sit and become increasingly aware of the truth of your own being. It is the knowing of the truth of your own being that sets you free. Then, that personal revelation, that insight, you will discover that through meditation comes absorption. Absorption happens after you meditate for a while and your DNA starts to produce rarefied hormones on a continued basis, which means your baseline doesn't drop. It doesn't go up and down. You may notice that sometimes in life, you're up when things are good, you're down when things aren't so good. You're up when things the way you like them, they're down when things are happening you don't like. But when you have the practice of affirmative prayer and meditation, absorption happens. There's chemicals that are produced continually. You hit a new space. And then you have the next level, which is embodiment. You actually embody a different vibration and a different frequency to live life. In other words, you have to be equipped, vibrationally equipped, to have a joy-filled life. You have to be vibrationally equipped. You have to be strong enough to hold the vibration. Otherwise, life experience will be up and down, up and down, up and down, based on what's happening in the world, based on what the latest news item, and based on what someone told you. You will live in a constant, frantic space of up and down, up and down, up and down. And that is not for the sons and daughters of the Most High. That is not for those who are awakening. That is not for you, since you stopped by here. You are to open yourself up and understand that the great field of infinite possibilities are all around you. I was sharing in the earlier service, I was having a conversation with Reverend Deborah Johnson earlier in the week, and she reminded me of when we were at the building over there in Santa Monica. We were standing out talking one day, and there was this guy off in front of the parking lot, and he was kind of inebriated. And he said, Reverend Michael, come here, let me tell you something. And so Deborah and I walked over there to see what the man was saying. He was, just kind of a little, I said inebriated, And he said, Michael, listen. The problem is There ain't no problem. But that's too deep for most people, you see. He was kicking the real knowledge. Because the problem is, there aren't any issues in the cosmos. There aren't any issues in the universal presence. There aren't any problems in the mind of God. God is not trying to figure out a problem. God is full expression of love and beauty and so much more than words can even convey. But people, in their limited perception, think that they are here to solve a problem. But we've come to an understanding that we are involved in a great mystery that's unfolding moment by moment by moment. And so our inner work is about having spiritual insight in the mystery that's unfolding moment by moment by moment. So with that dynamic, we re-embrace the childlike nature. We re-embrace the childlike nature because we've come to an understanding that spiritual maturity is actually a full-grown being that is matured with the power of discernment, but sees life through the child's heart and eyes. Therefore, we live in the vibration of anything is possible and miracles are inevitable. Anything is possible. Miracles are inevitable. Did you lose that along the way? Has your perception shrunk with every year that you have grown on the planet? So that possibility is shrinking? That when you were a child, it was like, anything is possible. I can remember my son, when I enrolled him in a basketball league years ago, he was a little tyke, and we were on the way to the court. Him and Jamal Harris were in the back seat. That's my friend John Harris's son. And they were so excited they were going to be a part of this basketball league. And my son said, is dunking allowed? I said, yep. Oh, they started giving each other high fives. Oh, we get to dunk in this league. You know, I didn't tell them they couldn't dunk. I didn't tell them they were only 4 feet and the basket was 10 feet. And I just said, yeah, dunking's legal. Oh, they were so excited. At that level of consciousness, anything was possible and miracles were inevitable. Have we lost that along the way? We want to have the power of discernment, but we want to carry the childlike heart and the childlike eye so we see through the childlike vision. Miracles are inevitable. So if you check yourself and you notice that you're only going for what you think is possible, you're limiting God. If you're only going for, well, this is only what my parents, nobody in my family have ever done X, Y, and Z. I don't think, I'm too old now I'm too dark, I'm too light, I'm too straight, I'm too gay, I'm too trans, I'm it's too old, I can't do it. You know, you've limited your perception and you've limited God. I want you to get in touch with the word genius. And oftentimes you put the word genius over there on special people. Every single being that has come to the planet has genius in them, has the genius code, you see, that when the infinite void of darkness that's within us, that's the place of brooding new ideas, the shadow, becomes the gift, then it becomes genius. You're a genius. I want you to get used to that word. Not above anybody else, not trying to be better than anyone else, not comparing yourself to anyone else. But I want you to wake up on a regular basis and invite the genius code to be activated within you. I want you to wake up every single day and wake up and say, I want my genius to unfold. I want to discover what it is about me that's just me. That the way I do it, the way I say it, the way I live it. You see, what wants to come through me? And in so doing, as we've gone through these things here, you're beginning to have your own personal revelation about your oneness with the presence of God. And you must have a personal revelation, must come through you. You must have an insight, you see. So all that we're doing here is we're preparing the table for you, but you got to eat it. We're giving you the teachings, but you've got to eat and digest them. We're preparing the table and the food, but you've got to eat and digest and assimilate and embody and allow it to express through you. Your revelation must be personal, period. And in so being, up and down experience of life will cease. That is not to say there aren't things going on that you are not going to like. That is not to say that there are things within you that are going to be uncovered to be forgiven and healed. That's not to say that there's not going to be in the world of phenomena changes that take place that make you feel uncomfortable. We're not denying that. But we are saying that when your baseline becomes stabilized through inner practice, insight, personal revelation, and you begin to discover that your attitude is triggering your DNA to convert that frequency into chemistry, such your very body, your very body begins to light up with the frequency of the Most High, you will really be able to live in the world, but be not of it. You will be called to be in the world, but to be of the emerging paradigm. Over the years, people have asked me, do you think these teachings and these spiritual practice, otherwise known as New Thought, Ageless Wisdom, the perennial religion, the teachings of Jesus, the Christ truly understood, do you think it can save the world? And I say, I hope not. We don't want to save the world. We want to serve the emerging paradigm. We don't want to save the typewriter. We want to serve the computer. We don't want to save the Model T. We want to serve the Tesla or some car that doesn't use gas. We don't want to save the world as it is right now with hate and bigotry and homophobia and racism. We don't want to save that world. We want to serve that which is emerging. There's a grand awakening happening on the planet. The beloved community, you can feel it incubating and coming forward. You can feel a golden age happening. Yes, there's calamity. Yes, there's a great chaos happening. But you can feel it if you're sensitive, that there's something trying to happen. We are serving what can't be seen by eye or heard by ear. You see, we're not living with sense evidence. We're living with the evidence as described by faith in the reading, the substance of things hoped for, and the evidence of things not seen. The evidence of things not seen. The evidence of things not seen. That's where we live. That's our vibrational address. I'm living in the inaudible. I'm living in the invisible. It's real to me. I see it. I feel it. I've had the insight. I've had the revelation. And yes, sense evidence says, lack, scarcity, not enoughness, fear, doubt, worry, virus, whatever the latest fear is, I'm not interested. You must give consent to what enters your consciousness. Do not be interested in anything outside of yourself being a causative factor for your success, your health, your vitality, your prosperity. No, that is malpractice. You give consent to love and peace and harmony, infinite potential being activated. Do not give your consent to anything else based on sense evidence. Because there's something about you that is untouched by experience and time. And though you may be totally identified with your human birth, father, mother, you have emerged from the eternal. They were the passageway. They weren't the cause. God is the cause of your life. You see, this is the work that I'm talking about. At some point, you've got to get down and sit long enough to have that as an insight. Oh my God, I've never not been. I've emerged from the eternal. I've never not been. I am. Everything else is commentary. I am. Everything else is commentary. And when you get that, and it becomes active. The body temple comes into alignment. Tonic chemicals. Frequency becomes chemistry. Nervous system changes. You see. And then you'll understand that when the eye is single, the body is full of light. You see. Those particular structures within you start to vibrate, and you start to see that you are a light being. You see, the light that lights up every man and every woman that comes into the world, the same light that was found in Jesus the Christ. That light that I'm talking about, that's you, boo. It is. Only give your consent to that which is real and eternal. And then, like Meshach and Abednego, you can walk through the burning fire and the furnace of the world of experience and not be touched by it. So many people are being touched by it. Do you know there's a few people in the world that actually believe within the media? There's a few, probably a few 100 million. They actually believe that nonsense. Do not give your consent to anything that's a causative factor outside of your own life and outside of the life of God, of which you are. That's a metaphysician. That's a truth teller, a truth liver. That's a practitioner. And when you slip, you just get back up. Don't beat yourself up. Don't have a lot of guilt about it. Not ashamed about it. Just get up. Because you can either go, God is the light of my life, the strength of my being. Whom shall I fear? Or you can go, I'm afraid of everything. Oh my God, what's going to happen? No. You can do either one. And whatever way you go is going to determine your particular experience that you have. So you might as well practice faith. You see? Take a breath here, please. Here are the basics and the fundamentals. There's only one cause. That's primary presence, only presence, and God presence. You see. And individuals have given their consent to lesser causative factors. And they're experiencing that belief. You're going back to the beginning. In the beginning, God. In the beginning, vibrational cellular logos, word, that carried the energy of all creation. And God sees it all as magnificent. You have the audacity to see something different that God sees? Don't be that bodacious to see something different how God sees it. Come into alignment within the beginning God. In the beginning love, in the beginning beauty and joy and harmony and wholeness, abundance. In the beginning. And we're talking about, of course, a beingness that never had a beginning, but the beginning of that which birthed itself into creation. Cosmos and solar systems and galaxies and multidimensional universes and living biology and nature and you. And you know what your role is? Yeah, I know. You want the house. I got it. Yeah, you can get one. You know what your role is? Yeah, I know you want to go shopping. I got it. Your role is to perfectly reflect the cosmos. So that the cosmos, the entire cosmos, yes, you. Yes, little old you. Yeah, you. The entire cosmos gets to become conscious as your life. You get to realize that you are a cosmic being. Therefore, we say this is not a religious quest, it's a quest for freedom and liberation from limited perceptions. And then what happens? When you start to be absorbed and embodied, your word is a declaration and a decree. It's not a hoping and a wishing. It's not wishful thinking. It's, let me see the opportunities of prosperity that are all around me. Let me see the opportunities for divine health and healing that are all around me. My word is law. Let me see the great possibility for wholeness in my life, in the life of my loved ones. I'm calling it forward. Let me see it now. You won't live as a mealy-mouthed, wimpy, cowardice, fearful being. You are a cosmic being that carries the entire cosmos within your awareness. And it's just gotten a little shrunk. But because you're on this journey, this voyage of self-discovery, self-activation, and self-expression, every so often you look back and say, woo, where did that guy go? He's not here now. Where did she go? She's not here now. I'm here. I am here. And I am reverberates. I am here. Reverberates. I am here. I am here. And then you can live perennially in the awareness that all needs are met. Because they've been met from the beginning. You see, before the beginning of time, all your needs were already met because everything was given to you. You know, check this out. The Spirit of the living God trusted you so much that the Spirit of the living God gave you everything. Didn't hold anything back. Deep trust. Deep trust. What are you doing with everything you've been given? You were trusted with everything. Discover it, activate it, express it. Change your address. Only give consent for that which you want to experience. Now, what's interesting is that trained thought is more powerful than untrained thought. So individuals that come into this teaching and have a little practice, when they give their consent to fear out there, it's tough on them. Because there's nothing more frustrated than a frustrated metaphysician. They that know God is everywhere and the only power there is, nothing outside that particular power, and then they've given their consent to some other power, and then they become frustrated because they cannot demonstrate the way they want to demonstrate. No. Just stay with the one. Don't malpractice. One God, one power, one presence. Nothing outside. Nothing outside. Remember, I shared this recently. Remember the great research that David Hawkins did when he would do his kinesiology and discover that certain things made people go weak and certain things made people stay strong. The auric field was strong, the nervous system was strong. So things like fluorescent lights and Wi-Fi, cell phones, things like that would make the body go weak. You know, if you held it for a period of time, inorganic vitamin C, your body would go weak, things like that. But then he discovered there was a group of people, they could stand under a fluorescent light, they could hold a cell phone, they could be into a computer for a period of time, and their auric field didn't shrink. So he wanted to discover what was it about these individuals that was not influenced by what was going on in the world. And what he discovered was that these individuals had one thing in common, and that is for a minimum of 5 years, they had studied a teaching of one God, one power. They had studied a teaching of unity, of oneness, and had practiced along with it until there became an awareness that there was nothing outside of the infinite. That became a part of their subjective consciousness, a part of their baseline, a part of their attitude that informed their DNA to convert that frequency into chemistry and biology. And so they were in the world, but they were of a higher frequency. When we were putting machines into the old building over that 5700 Buckingham, these guys came in, they had these machines, and when you plugged in the machine, it blocked all of the waves so that it was no longer impinging upon your auric field, and they would have these dowsing machines to measure your aura so that when they unplugged it, the aura would shrink. When they plugged in, the aura would expand, and mine stayed the same regardless. And so they would say, well, who is this guy? And they said, oh, he's the founder of Agape. They said, oh, okay. Didn't matter. That's for all of us, you see. Practice, personal, have a personal revelation about your oneness with God. Practice, have a personal revelation about your oneness with God. Have no other gods before the one God, you see. Don't assign causative factors to anything outside of yourself. Do not be intimidated, produced, or provoked to go into fear. Fear is an invitation for an experience you don't want to have. When you have a fear, you're sending out a flare. Woo, I want to experience negativity. That's the Job factor. What I feared most has come upon me. If you want to use fear, become afraid of being prosperous. Oh, I'm so scared. I don't know what I'm going to do with all that money. I'm so afraid of being so healthy. I'm so afraid of being happy. If you're going to use the fear, you're going to do the fear, use it for something. I'm joking, of course, just, but not really. You can use it that way. Just, oh my God, I'm scared. I'm scared of activating my potential. Send out a signal. You see? Send out a signal. Are you picking up what I'm putting down here? Are you picking it up? Because I can see you're chatting, but are you picking up what I'm putting down? Because we're in the period of what is called the Great Awakening. May not look like it to some, because people are looking at sense evidence, only the evidence that the five senses can give you. But when you begin to open up, you can actually see great transformation has taken place. Old structures are dissolving. New structures are emerging. Do you realize there is a lot of good news happening on the planet? We're the most censored country in the world. Between us and China, we battle for censorship. You don't even know all the good news that's happening. All you know is about viruses and things like that. There's so much good. We're gonna start laying it out for you, so you can begin to see the world as it really is. Come on out of the matrix. Be free. Come on out of the matrix. Not denying that there's nefarious and negative stuff happening on the planet. I'm not denying that. But not more than the good. God is everywhere. But again, take this in. Your revelation must be personal. Period. You have to sit, pray, study, become enamored with the beloved presence. Enamored with the truth that you are always connected, never dejected nor neglected by the presence that is never an absence. It operates lawfully with total love, doesn't compromise its nature. So that you can walk in this world, not run from it. Be in it. Be all up in it. But be of a higher frequency. You have no idea the miracles. You have no idea. Viktor Frankl, the author of the book on meaning, when he was talking about being in Auschwitz, and he was talking about the fact that they would make them take showers and go outside and dry in the cold. And they had this sheer determination to survive. And they didn't catch any colds or flus or anything. And they would with a textbook, they were doctors, we're supposed to be sick. They didn't get sick. There used to be an old tale, like if you sit in the draft, you're going to get a cold. If you, poppycock. It's silly. It's stupid. That's a belief. And they proved so many things while they were under this sheer oppression of how their consciousness determined their experience, you see. So give up the superstition. Understand that you are God in the flesh, meaning you're an emanation of the presence of God. Have a level of focus and intention, have a level of contemplation, and a level of meditation. I broke this down last week in the way of meditation service. Focus and concentration is primarily from the left side of the brain. You have a focus, you have an intention. You can even visualize and see, I'm going to grow and become the best version of myself. Then you have a level of contemplation, which is both sides of the brain, actually have a powerful statement. Matter of fact, we'll do it right now. Just I'm going to say it, then you say it, then listen to it. All of my needs are met all the time. Say it.
All of my needs are met all of the time.
Now listen to yourself saying it. Don't say it out loud. Just listen to your mind say it. And just contemplate what that means. All of my needs are met all the time. Don't ask how that's supposed to happen. Don't look to an external way that's going to happen. Just contemplate that all needs are met all the time. And then you go into pure meditation. Meditation is paying undistractable attention to reality, and it's observing. You can observe the thoughts, the emotions, the fidgeting in your body. You can hear the sounds, but you are becoming aware that you are pure consciousness. You're not the stuff passing through. You're not the thoughts passing through. You're not the emotions passing through. You're not your beliefs passing through. You're not your opinions. So you concentrate, you contemplate, you meditate. Meditation leads to absorption. Something happens. You're absorbed by what you are meditating on. It's you. That attitude. Whoa. The DNA converts that vibration, converts it into chemistry and biology. And after a while, after absorption, it's continual. It's not just when you're meditating. It's always producing these rarefied hormones. You have a new baseline. Strong. You don't have to grow old. You can become better. Laser. But the revelation must be personal. You have to have it. You got to get it for yourself. You got to have your own aha moments, your own satori moments. This is why we have classes, people to really get down and study and practice, you see, until it becomes a way of life. I think I'm going to stop now. I think a lot of stuff has been delivered. I think God is good. I think life is good. I don't just think it. I know it. Whew. But this is what happens. Okay, I'm getting this. Ooh, energy's flowing through me. Listen. Instead of living your life, I said I was going to stop, didn't I? Instead of living your life on once upon a time, you live your life on once upon a choice. You actually choose not from time and experience, but you choose from the idea sphere. Once upon a choice, I realized that all my needs were met, and I went on an adventure to prove it. Once upon a choice, I realized that wholeness was inherent within me, and I went on an adventure to prove it. Oh my God. And what happens? You join the celebration. As I was speaking to the newly graduated ministers in this class I'm doing with them, you feel the great community of lovers of God and lovers of humanity. You feel the great community. And you have your own password to get in. And all of these sweet beings that have had their own ahas and revelations, you enter into the grand community of lovers of God. You feel never alone. And the celebration is happening. You got to move sometimes. You got to have your body mantra. You got to dance. You got to flow. Watch this person on the screen.
Major.
Sean Smith. That's Brother Sean, who let the dogs out. Thousands of people are watching Sean right now. Sean's getting a mighty blessing. Sean's got some moves. Chat him up. Let Sean know you saw him. Chat him up a little bit. And now, that was Sean Smith. Now it's on you to come into the celebration. Come on.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say.
Come on, Tyler Conti, sing it.
Sunshine, she's here, then you can take a break. I'm a honey balloon that could go to space with the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way, yeah. Come on. Because I'm happy, clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy, clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy, clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Clap along if you feel like that's what you wanna do. Here come bad news, talking this and that. Don't hold it back. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Said I should probably want you, I'll be just fine. Yeah, yeah. Oh, nah. Yeah. But no offense to you, but don't waste your time. Let me tell you why. Because I'm happy, clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy, clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Yeah. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Clap along if you feel like that's what you wanna do. Let me hear ya. You bring me down, I can't. You bring me down, my love is too high. You bring me down, I can't run. You bring me down, my love is too high. You bring me down, I can't run. You bring me down, my love is too high. You bring me down, I can't run. You bring me down, because I'm happy, clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy, clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Clap along if you feel like that's what you wanna do. Come on. You bring me down, I can't run. You bring me down, so my love is too high. You bring me down, I can't run. You bring me down, so my love is too high. You bring me down, I can't run. You bring me down, my love is too high. You bring me down, I can't run away. You bring me down. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth.
Happiness is the truth.
Clap along if you know what happiness is to you.
Yeah!
If you feel
it in your
that's what you wanna do.
Come on! Change your vibrational address. Come out of the ghetto of despair and come into the bright light of that inner freedom of divine love and infinite peace. Pure joy and abundance. It's already been given. Discover, activate, circulate, express it, radiate it, live it, talk to it, talk from it, talk about it. Oh my God. Stop talking about the nonsense. Stop talking about the fear. Talk about what's real. And it will become the activity of your awareness. You won't be normal, but you'll be free. You may not be able to fit in with the old crowd, gossiping and talking about nothing, but you'll fit in with the great community. Those who have had insights into reality. Come on home. Come on home to yourself. Turn within with me at this moment and feel your own power of prayer. Feel the power of prayer. Not begging a reluctant deity to give us anything, but connecting with the presence and having a realization that everything has already been given. We just haven't unwrapped it. We put it somewhere. But we didn't unwrap it. We didn't receive it. For as many as received, gave them the power to be the sons and daughters of the Most High. Oh, we are in a very receptive mode right now. We leap into the feeling tone of gratitude. Come on. We leap into the feeling tone of thanksgiving. Come on. The mind might be saying, well, wait a minute. I don't have anything to be grateful for. Stop it. You're not giving your consent to that conversation any longer. You're just coming into gratitude. Your heart is beating. You're able to take out hydrogen and oxygen from the air and use it, and you don't even know how it's done. So why don't you go ahead and accept abundance and prosperity? You don't have to know how that's done either. Jesus called it the lilies of the field consciousness. Be like the lilies of the field, how they spin and toil and not have one anxious thought about how they should eat or drink or anything about the future. You don't know how all this stuff is happening in your body temple. Let's enter into the field of gratitude right now. I'm like a child. Childlike. Anything is possible. Anything's possible. Anything's possible. Miracles are inevitable. The instant demonstration of truth, that's what a miracle is inevitable. Like I'm staying in this state of consciousness right now. Come on with me. Let's recognize there's a presence everywhere and become so unified with it that we can just simply say, I am what thou art. And thou art what I am.